In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the Linux shell scripting is a way to make things automated so you don't have to repeatedly enter the same set of commands into the terminal. It just makes things more streamlined, so you have all the commands to do a particular task in one file, and all you have to do is just enter that name of the shell script, and then everything gets executed automatically. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, you want to make a file called myshell.sh. You can name it whatever you want. And the first line, you want to put what is called a shebang, and that's indicated by this. This basically tells the terminal what type of interpreter to use to execute your shell script. Next, we're going to talk about comments and say this is a comment. Now, comments are something that is not read by the interpreter. It is just for your documentation to tell you what's going on in your script. Okay, next we're going to talk about variables. Variable 1 is equal to hello world. That contains a simple message. Variables are not only exclusive to strings, they can also be numbers. And notice that there is no space between variable and the value stored in that variable. That's important. Next, we're going to print out values to the string, to the screen, and say variable 1, and then also we can do something like this. And notice how I put the $ in front of the variable. Whenever you want to use a variable, you must have this $ in front of it. As well, over here you want to have the name of the variable with the $ preceding it. Here, this basically is going to have this variable this value contained in the string, and there's a difference between double quotes and single quotes. And as you can see here, I'll also make an example and say okay, so let's actually run this and see what's going on. Well, to run it, you'll see here you have your shell file that we created using any text editor, and then what you want to do is go to change mod +x and the name of your file, which is myshell.sh. All this does is makes it green, which means that that file is now an executable file, and you can run this executable file as a program by doing /myshell.sh, and boom, you have a program that's working. This, like as you can see here, it prints out the value of variable 1 as hello world. It prints out also the line 2. This is a value of variable 2 and containing 21, and the value is 21. And at the same time, I showed you the difference between single quotes and double quotes. As you can see here, while in the double quotes one, the actual value of variable 1 is printed out, while in the second one, in single quotes, you don't get the actual value printed. Everything is treated as a literal, meaning that whatever you type in there will show up to the screen as you typed it. Whereas in double quotes, whatever you typed into that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to appear like that on the screen, where if you precede things with a $ and they are a variable, that value will be printed to the screen. Okay, well, join me in the next tutorial, and I'll talk about if statements, for loops, and passing parameters to your program. Okay, I'll see you till then. Remember to subscribe and rate this video. Thank you. Okay, we're going to continue with our previous video, and in this video we're going to talk about passing parameters to our script, and as well as if statements and for loops. Okay, first of all, let's talk about some of the predefined variables contained in our program and contained in Bash. This is going to contain the number. It's going to contain the number of parameters passed to our program. I should really say script because this is a script. It's not a program like C++ or something. Okay, or C, or you know. Also, let's say that and I really can't spell, so I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the actual list. Okay, so the first one in this case, that tells us that's the predefined variable that contains the number of parameters passed to a given script, and this is the actual content, you know, passed to our script. So let me execute this and show you what's going on. And I call this a list, but it's actually an array. Okay, it's an array. So if anybody knows what's going on, please don't yell at me. Alright, so let's execute it. ls.myshell.sh. Boom. As you can see, we pass nothing to the script, so therefore nothing is contained in the script. Let's say we pass in a simple sentence. Okay, now it says that it has 4 parameters passed to our script, and the actual values are such. So if we count them, it says 1, 2, 3, and 4, and indeed it is 4. Okay, now let's write a simple condition using if statements and say we expect our program to receive at minimum 5 parameters, and if it doesn't contain 5 parameters, we're going to display an error message to the user. How do we do that? Well, it's actually quite simple. So let's get started with that. We're going to say if, and we're going to put our condition between these square brackets. We're going to say if our $ argument count is not equal to, let's say, 5. Okay, put a semicolon there and say then. Okay, so if this statement is not true, then basically we're going to say there's an error. We're going to say to the user, okay, but also we're going to say if this is true and the number of arguments is not equal to 5, then we're going to say you did not supply the correct amount of parameters to our program. However, if it is equal to 5, if it is equal, okay, and if we run it, and remember we have 4 passed to our script, and they're these, and we need at least 5. Okay, so the first situation was executed. Now let's run that again, and let's add one more word. Cats are cool, dude. I don't know. Random retarded statement. Oh, and now we get something else. Congratulations, you entered the correct amount of arguments, and they are such. And so basically that's how you do an if statement. Just take a note at the syntax. basically the structure of it all, which is to say that if, and then you put in square brackets the condition, and the condition has to be something like this. Likewise, you can have something like you know, your operators, condition operators can be if something is equal, just use an equal sign like that, equal, greater than or equal, greater than, less than, a whole bunch of, this is not equal. I think that's a whole bunch of just all the permutations such as that. No, I think that's it. So that's how you would put other conditions if you wanted. So that's a simple in and out of if statements. In the next tutorial, I'll talk about how to do for loops. So see me in the next tutorial, and please rate and subscribe. Thank you.